Question. How do we call him? He gave us a signal.
What up, Gotham Guardians? Today we're all Gotham Guardians. There are no Arkham adversaries. The night has fallen with the loss of the great legendary voice of Batman for the last 30 years. Kevin Conroy passed away today at the age of 66. Caught me by complete surprise. I thought someone was, you know how the world is. Sometimes they make funny jokes about, they're not funny, but what they think is funny to prank things like that, say people are gone and no longer with us. And I thought it was that. I thought it was a joke. And then I start seeing all the news outlets saying the same thing, that Kevin Conroy has passed. It was while I was working, and I know it seems silly. I even told my coworkers on the chat, I was just like, because today I got to work from home, but I told them, I was like, hey y'all, I need a minute. I need a couple of minutes. Because for me, Kevin Conroy was more than just the voice of the Batman. That dude was my childhood. He's why I fell in love with the character in the first place. Watching Cartoon Network, Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond. And his voice was just iconic. It was just so iconic. And when you think of Batman, I think you hear his voice first. I think you hear that famous line. That line that Kevin Conroy took to a whole new level and has inspired what the character is today. And I'm not going to lie. I don't think I've cried this hard in a very long time. And I know that's silly. People are probably thinking like grown ass man crying. Part of that is regret. I had an opportunity to meet Kevin Conroy not too long ago, and I passed up on it because I had other things I had to do that I considered more of a priority. And I remember thinking in my brain, he's young. He'll be around for a while. Like I'll see him next time, because he does a lot of Comic-Cons. I said the same shit with Adam West when he was here in Denver the last time, and literally months later passed away. So I said I would never do that again. And yet somehow I did it. So that really bugs me. And I think that's just a testament to his legacy, to what he's done for the character. And imagine until recently with, the Infinite Crisis that they did for the CW network, he's never played a live action Batman. He was just the voice. He was the voice of the shows. He was the voice of the video games for the Arkham series. And I was the same way, Lucas Ironside. Like I had knots in my stomach. I was just completely taken back. And I needed to vent. You probably noticed I posted a lot today. I was posted on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And it was just because like I was feeling it. I needed to let it out. And even my mom called me and she was like, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry." Like, I know that meant a lot to you. I remember watching that TV show when you were a little boy. I'm heartbroken. I'm really heartbroken. So tonight, there's a lot going on tonight. A little bit in a few hours, we're going to be doing a watch party that we had planned for Starship Troopers to have a good time, and this kind of made it a little less bright. But I need some, like some people said, I need some happiness. I need to be with my people tonight, and that's why I decided to do a show, not for subscribers. So I'm not even going to say like this video. I'm not going to say that because I just want to be with you guys tonight. I just want to hang out with you guys. So this is going to be an open panel show where it's a celebration of life show for Kevin Conroy, and to kind of just talk about some of our fond memories. Maybe you met him at Comic-Con. Maybe I can live through you guys for a moment and hear just how awesome of a person he was, and just tell me some of your favorite episodes, your favorite shows that you have seen. And I mean, here's what's partly heartbreaking. My wife and I, we every Saturday or Sunday is kind of our like relaxed day, don't do anything. And we'd like to watch like DC cartoons. So like Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited. And literally last weekend, the last episode we watched was one of my favorite episodes of Kevin Conroy's. And it was the episode with Ace, where he sits down with her in those final moments. Hurts, man. Yeah, I haven't covered from Adam West. Yeah, man, it's rough. I'm going to go ahead, guys, and copy the StreamYard link so you can join us in the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys, and just have a good time. Just enjoy this. This is about us tonight, and it's about, more importantly, Kevin Conroy and his family, and all the Batman fans out there and his friends. It's been insane to see all the trending tweets. Just he's blowing up. Everyone felt something for the character, but more importantly, him as an actor with this character, and it's rough, and it's been very touching to see how much and how many people he's touched their lives. Because I mean, this guy was iconic. But without further ado, guys, I'm honored to have some of the guests who have already just ready to go for me to help cheer me up. The boys. Here we go. Zod Rider, Batman's Thoughts, and my boy Taladia Plays. How you guys doing?
Hey man.
Hey man.
This was some of the most shocking news, Trey, especially for all of us. I had said it in the chat that like every time I read a Batman comic, I hear Kevin Conroy's voice. And I normally don't, and this is the thing for me, I normally don't cry with celebrities, but this one was hard because he means so much to all of us. He was Batman and is Batman when you think about it. Like that voice, there's never been another actor who's been able to convey that type of character and emotion. And if you loved Batman the Animated Series at all, or even had a passing interest in it, growing up or whatever, or watching it recently since it's been released in Blu-ray and all kinds of formats and stuff, it really is It really is sad. It was just a shock, and he was young too. That's the thing. 66 years old. Wow.
Yeah. And if I've heard correctly from some of the articles, I know he wasn't very public about those type of things. I don't think really many people knew he was ill at all, but it sounds like he had cancer. And it was a pretty aggressive form of cancer that
Sounds like he did it. He lived his life like Batman, not letting anything get in the way, and whatever it is, he's just going to keep going until he has no control anymore. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. I'm glad he's no longer in pain. But truly he left a legacy for this character that I think just as iconic as James Earl Jones' voice is for Darth Vader and Mufasa, that's Conroy for Batman. Batan, how you doing, brother?
I can't believe it. It's just so shocking. It's like earlier today, I was so happy. I was on Zavra's show, got great news from Mikey. I was like expected to have such a great day today, and my God, I can't. It's just the Justice League animated series is like my favorite show growing up, and like Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. Like Zavrader says, I listened to. Read a comic, Kevin Conroy is Batman to me. The Arkham games are some of my favorite Batman stories ever. And, because he kept doing it. I mean, even after like his main project, the DCAU was over, he still continued to voice Batman because he loved the role and he was just so dedicated and just too young. And it's like he died, this week this weekend it comes out Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which is a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who died of cancer. Yeah. And this very weekend, Kevin Conroy dies of cancer. And I had a half day of work today, just happened to work out that way. And I was so glad because I don't know if I could really gotten through this. Like I had like an hour left of work before I was done for the day. And wow. It was just, I can't. And there's some personal stuff kind of going on in my life right now that's kind of somewhat related to this. So it's kind of affecting me right now in that way too. And it's just, I can't.
Yeah,
it's shocking.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. That there's extra stuff going on, and hopefully we can help you get through it all together. But like, yeah, man, I hear it was hard today at work. I apologize numerous times to my coworkers because usually I have a level head on me, and today this one hurt.
Trey, I gotta ask you, man, and this is a little off topic, but how's your wife doing? Is she okay?
Oh, yeah. So thank you, Zod. Yeah, this happened literally after I was on the show. Well, wasn't really much on it, but after Sill's show, hung out with Mikey Sutton, told me some very exciting news.
Yep.
And sure enough, right before I ended the call, Zod and I were just doing what we normally do, just hang out and talk after. And I get a call from my wife, and she's like, "Honey, don't be mad. I messed up my knee during volleyball today." So she is fine. She's stubborn. She's she's my Wonder Woman. She's gonna act like a complete badass, even though I think it's like keep telling her, I was like, time, take it easy, time to take you to the hospital. And she's just like, no, I'll be fine. Just give me some ice, put a Band-Aid on it, and I'll be good. She's a badass. I love her to death. But yeah, thank you so much for asking, brother. I appreciate that. Saladia, my brother, it's good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be here, but like back then, I was having a great day, and then this news hit me like a brick, because I know how it feels to have someone who's had cancer. Like I know someone who had cancer and stuff like that, and to find out someone that I known for such a long time, like Kevin Conroy doing the voice of Batman. I grew up with him not only in the animated shows, but throughout the years in the 2000s, and then the Batman Arkham games, and then the Injustice games, and then furthermore, he's been part of my life for a long time, and it's hard it was really hard for me just to say take it back. And I was putting tributes out, and I was like, I would change my profile picture on Twitter from my logo to the bat signal just to pay tribute to Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's rough. I think we've all dealt with someone who's battled cancer, and one of the I had a teacher that I was very, very close with fight cancer and lost that battle, and it's not easy. It's one of those things where you get mad, you get upset by it, but I think as long as you remember the joy that person brought you, and I think if we can all agree that Kevin Conroy, the amount of joy he brought to our lives, especially in the 90s, early two, and continued. I mean, when you think about his staple, his stamp on the character, I mean, he played it with the animated series all the way to that incredible Justice League, animated show that we got. And then he was doing some of the movies, and then the Arkham games, which are easily the best Batman games ever. So he's had an effect on multiple generations throughout. And truly, as I say, he is the legend. He is the Batman. And this one's going to be a tough one. Corey, how you doing, bud? Thanks for rushing home to get on.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a sad news and sad show today. No, it's tough because obviously heartbroken for him, his family, his friends, loved ones, for the whole entire Batman community. Absolutely loved Kevin Conroy. He was just so iconic. His voice, it's Kevin Conroy talking as Batman when you hear his just beautiful voice, and it's really sad to hear that that we're not going to get that voice anymore. I think the best way that I was kind of processing it all for myself was when you really take a step back and you look at DC Comics, Batman as a whole, you see a lot of competition that Michael Keaton was the best Batman, Christian Bale was the best Batman, my boy my boy Ben Affleck is the best Batman. And I think the one name we always miss is Kevin Conroy. And in reality, Kevin Conroy stood the test of time. He's been Batman for longer than anybody. Adam West even. So he has impacted and touched so many lives to a level that we'll never truly understand as Batman fans. And Kevin Conroy is Batman.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I loved that Zod had said earlier is like when you read a comic, I mean, some of my earliest videos that when I first started doing the Bat Channel, and I did comic book reviews of the whole Joker War thing. Every time I did Batman's dialogue, I did my best impression of Kevin Conroy. That's like, because that's the voice, right? That's Batman. Like, regardless of all the iconic Batman voices, whether it's Christian Bale smoking 30 packs of cigarettes, voice, or the iconic Michael Keaton or Ben Affleck's modulated voice,
he's Batman.
Kevin Conroy is Batman. You think that is the perfect Batman in every way, and I don't think anyone would debate that. And it's heartbreaking, but in a way, he left his legacy. He's not going anywhere. In the sense of the joy that he brought us. This was tough to do, but I was, like you said, I was like crying all day. It was bad, guys. Like, eyes are probably like drained and red. But like I had my lunch break from work and I was trying to get things ready for all the shows today. And I turned on HBO Max while I was like, getting things ready, and the Mask of Batman Mask of Phantasm was on, and I watched it, and like immediately I was like, God damn, this movie's so good. It was like I can watch this forever and it never gets old. It's just perfect. It's just so perfect. So a question for all you guys. What is some of your favorite Batman animated series or Justice League or hell, even Arkham games? Like, what are some of your favorite iconic Kevin Conroy Batman moments?
Well, I got to tell you, Trey, for me, Mask of the Phantasm is one of the greatest Batman movies of all time. And the fact that when that came out, that actually got a little theatrical run in a time when animated movies weren't really all that in the theater back then. So for me, that is one of the most definitive Batman stories. And that's, I'm not going to say that's what sold me on Kevin Conroy, because Batman the Animated Series, of course, had been going on for quite a while before that movie. And honestly, but for me, that movie is a definitive go-to when I want to watch a really, really good Batman movie. And yeah, dude. I mean, some of my favorite animated series episodes are Per Chance to Dream with the Mad Hatter, the two-parter Two-Face episode. And there's there's just so many, but those are just a couple, just to name a few. But to me, Batman the Animated Series is so iconic. And of course, Kevin Conroy, he's always going to be a legend, and and it's like and it's going to be natural, because we're going to get to a point where people are going to actually start saying things like, well, now nobody can ever voice Kevin Conroy and Batman in animation again. That's always that kind of stuff you're going to hear, but that's already debunked, because we've already had several actors who have been continuing to play Batman, even though Kevin Conroy hasn't been doing it as much. And then, of course, there was The Killing Joke not too long ago, and I had the pleasure of seeing The Killing Joke with my father in theaters. We went to see.
Wow!
It was they did it for one night as a Fathom event, and my dad and I went to see it, and it was an amazing experience. It was great to hear Batman, Kevin Conroy on the big screen playing Batman.
Right. Oh my gosh, yeah, dude. Seeing The Killing Joke in theaters, that was a cool moment. Even the great Mark Hamill, another iconic voice actor who is arguably even more known now as the Joker than he is as Luke Skywalker. I mean, it's pretty that says a lot, doesn't it? I mean, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's when you think about all the things, like it really just, even Tara Strong as Harley Quinn, right? Like if it weren't for her, really, like that character became iconic and was introduced in that whole Batman animated series. And it's the reason why Margot Robbie. What's that?
It was Arlene Sorkin who voiced her in the animated series. Tara Strong took over in Arkham City when Arlene Sorkin couldn't.
That is true. But just like iconic voices all around him, just when you think about like that whole show in general, just.
And Trey, I think the reason why, you guys mentioned, Corey, I think you mentioned this about how, when we mention our favorite Batmans, we always talk about live action.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason why Kevin Conroy doesn't get mentioned as much is because it's automatic. We know Kevin Conroy is the GOAT. It's undisputed. So you're basically, when somebody asks you who Batman is, automatically you think Kevin Conroy. But in terms of these polls and things like this, we're thinking about live action. So naturally we say Ben Affleck, George Clooney, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like you're. I think most people would agree with that, though. If you think about it, Kevin Conroy is so good in the role. Is such a he definitely is Batman. It goes without saying. It's something that you automatically think of. It's an automatic go-to. So I think that's the reason why. I think it just because it's just such a. It's like he's the real. I mean, Kevin Conroy's the real Batman. So you're not even talking about him because, like how I mentioned about how you hear his voice when you read comic books. He's the canonical real Batman, but then you have the actors who play Batman in movies. He's not just an actor who plays Batman in movies. He's the canonical Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Batman? What's some of your favorite episodes?
Well, you kind of mentioned this earlier, but Justice League Unlimited, where Batman sat with Ace, that just, to me, really just, Kevin Conroy really showed why Batman is the best of them all. He just, like, Kevin Conroy really was great at showing all sides of Batman, his hardness, but also he really was good at demonstrating, like, Batman's compassion, something that people don't realize that he has. Or the episode with the Sewer King, with those, he was keeping all those children hostage. Again, Batman, like Kevin Conroy, again, same here. Like, Batman really showed concern for those children, and that's something a lot of people don't really talk about, in my opinion. Is that he's like this tough person that you're afraid of, but when he needs to be, he's a very compassionate person, and that's one thing I love about Batman is that he's what he needs to be, and he did a really good job. I also love Mask of Phantasm, Arkham City. Those are two more like where Kevin Conroy's at his best. And in my opinion, I like the Arkham games probably the best, only because those were less geared towards children. So people like Mark Hamill particularly was held back a lot less. But Kevin Conroy, no matter what, he just could do well in anything. I mean, there was those episodes. I'm just little scenes like when Superman died in Justice League, the animated series.
Wow,
just when he's visiting Superman at his grave. That was such.
It hits.
And when he visits his parents, and I think about the way he just says "I am Batman" just to kind of get through. Like the scene where Scarecrow got to him and he's like fighting off that hallucination, and he's so much of my childhood.
Dude. And honestly, I would say to also kind of piggyback of what Zod said earlier is that we all just like, it's already kind of that theme. We all know deep down Kevin Conroy is the best Batman, and I think that's why me personally, why I've always liked Ben Affleck's Batman, because he was the closest version to the Justice League Unlimited Batman, to the Batman animated series. He had the look, he had that face, and the delivery of certain lines when it flipped between Bruce and Batman. And I think that's the thing, right? Even though Kevin Conroy was an animated Batman or video game Batman, you are comparing live action actors to his portrayal of Batman on what you think is like the perfect definition of the character, because in a lot of ways he was. How about you, Taladia Plays? What was your favorite episodes or shows, moments of Kevin Conroy's Batman?
Well, I have a lot. Like, there's not only, like, I have a few. One of them is the Batman the Animated Series, of him growing up to becoming Batman, in terms of you get to see like his relationship with some of the other Justice League members, especially with Zatanna. You see that moment there, and how he became Batman essentially. And I also liked the episode in Justice League where he sang "Am I Blue."
Oh, great episode. Great. And that was actually Susan Eisenberg talked about that in a tweet earlier today, where something that people didn't really know about Kevin Conroy is that he loved to sing. And that's why they partly did that episode, is like, let's do something that you would never think Batman would do, but Kevin Conroy is actually like really, really good at it. And I think that goes from his experience as a Broadway and theater performer, a classically trained performer. He was just a triple threat, all things
Yeah.
considering. But go ahead, continue. Sorry to interrupt you, Taladia.
No, it's all good. I mean, there's not only that. I mean, his also in the Arkham games as well. Like his portrayal in Arkham City was probably one of the best performances he's ever done, and like he literally made people believe that that performance was there, and you know, him and Mark Hamill had a really good relationship there, and then it's kind of sad that as well that because no longer he's not going to be able to do Injustice, it's kind of sad on that frontier because he was a really good voice acting for Batman in the Injustice games too.
Yeah.
Because in the Injustice games, he literally portrayed Batman being the more mature one, and literally made fans believe that look, Batman is the greatest of all time, and he made people believe, and that's the way I see him. I see Kevin Conroy as the voice that not only in comics, not only in video games, but in animated movies, and he was also in the CW's crossover event of Crisis on Infinite Earths as Bruce Wayne,
Mm,
if you remember that, and he did do a
yeah,
really
yeah.
good job as that. So, I mean, we will never forget him, regardless of what's happened today. We will never forget him, and I'm sure there's going to be a tons and tons of tributes going to be done from DC.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, dude. I agree. He just has so many of those iconic uh, moments and roles. Going from the games to the movies to and his moment, his shining moment, finally as a live action Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was or sorry, Infinite Crisis, I think is what they called it for the CW. But yeah, man, that was cool. That was like the one bright moment lately of the CW verse. But we do have another guest panel. You've seen him here recently before, my boy Slade. Slade, how are you doing, man? Rough day.
Yeah, I it's weird because like I didn't know how to process it at first, so I was on my way to the Arkham City theme and like just bawled my eyes out. It was pretty like hard to because at first I thought it was fake, and then because I just saw it on Twitter. It's like because I know they done like all those. I know Twitter's crazy like that, but and then it was real, and then but yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
No, you're good, bro. Do you have a favorite episode or moment of
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy's Batman?
Yes, it's Return of the Joker when he gives the speech to Terry at the end about the legacy of Batman. It's probably my favorite performance of his.
Yeah, wow, man. Yeah, that that is, I think, a very underrated and looked over moment. That speech is spectacular, and he kind of gives something similar in that same episode with Ace. I think in the third season of Justice League Unlimited, where he talks about how there must always be a Batman for Gotham. And it's yeah, man, that's a great moment. I didn't even think about that myself. Super Bro Corey, how about you? I know you mostly watch the Superman animated show, but you probably saw me every now and then taking over the TV to watch the Batman show.
Big fella. I watched the animated series all the time when I was a kid. So yes, I watched the Superman a lot, but I was very much into Batman as well. So there might be even a few costumes of me actually wearing the Batman costume. But that said, I I would have to say, so obviously I love the animated series. Um, what I would say, Killing Joke means a lot to me. Um, Mainly because the connection I have with you with that one, and the comic. But I would say one that we don't hear about a lot is Batman Beyond as well. The work he did in that.
Yeah.
That was another that was another really huge one. I'm basically trying to think of other ones outside of that Ace scene, bro. That was like one of the first times I freaking cried during
Wow.
a cartoon series.
Yeah. I got this at Comic-Con a few years back, and I actually got a chance to meet him, and it was I met him and was it Lauren Lester who played Robin?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I met,
Lauren Lester. Yeah.
yeah, I met both of them, and it was and then I actually asked them the question. One of my favorite memories of the Kevin Conroy is actually whenever I got to ask him the question if the animated series is ever going to come out on Blu-ray or not, and he kind of is before they made an announcement like 2 months after I asked that question, and he kind of smirked and he said, "Unfortunately, actors are the last people to know about that," even though he's already like filmed all the documentaries and stuff for the Blu-ray release.
Wow.
By that point,
Yeah.
but he wasn't able to tell us.
Tell us what was it like? What was it like meeting him? What was the type of personality? Was he? I get the impression that he was very personal and took his time to really like. I don't see him being that type of person. Like, cool, give me the $50, I'll sign, now go.
Yeah, he actually stopped and asked me what. He asked me a couple questions, but I forgot what they were. But
Yeah.
sadly, but I do remember asking him that question about the Blu-rays in a Q&A panel he had at the Comic-Con.
Wow.
And then like a few months, like literally like 2 months later, they announced it's coming out on Blu-ray.
Wow. Oh man, that see, I'm jealous. I'm jealous, and I think that's so cool that you got to meet him. Did anyone else on the panel get to meet Kevin Conroy out of curiosity?
No, I didn't get a chance.
My wife was lucky enough to, and she did bring me back something similar to what Slade has, but and of course, iconic. Kevin Conroy just simply writes, "I am Batman."
Trey, there is a recent documentary that was just released not too long ago about Batman the Animated Series that is on YouTube. That looks like a fairly recent, meaning that I think it was done in like 2020, maybe early 2021, and it's a feature-length documentary about Batman the Animated Series. You have Kevin Conroy talking at length about it and his interactions with people. And I just wanted to touch on this because he mentioned about how he met Adam West at an airport and how they had a conversation and how and then he talked about how they were when Adam West came in to do the voice acting for the Gray Ghost episode of Batman the Animated Series, and he talks a lot about how people thought that Adam West was going to come in and he was going to kind of be throwing his weight around and having an attitude because he was Batman before anybody else. But and I love how Kevin Conroy points out about how down to earth of a guy and how kind and giving Adam West was, and how Adam West told Kevin Conroy to take the character of Batman and run with it and embrace it and celebrate it and be happy to have it because it's his time and time to shine. And it was just a beautiful thing to hear. And when you watch this documentary and you hear Kevin Conroy talk about all of this, you really get a sense of what it was like. So,
yeah. And you know what I personally love about Kevin Conroy, because that whole with the Gray Ghost with Adam West episode is such a cool moment in the whole Batman animated series. But every time Kevin Conroy talked about Batman, like, you realize no one ever saw his face, but they knew the voice. And if you just heard Kevin Conroy talking, doing something, all of a sudden you go, wait, hold on, is that Batman? And there's actually a wonderful clip that I'm sure some people have seen. Corey, can you pull up when you get a chance? It's the second clip I posted in our private chat, the YouTube one that says Batman 9/11.
Yep.
There's a moment that happened, obviously, with it being Veterans Day, which, first off, thank you to everyone who has served our nation, has kept us free, and to be able to nerd out and do silly things like YouTube to and not have to worry about the outside craziness.
It doesn't bring up anything, Trey.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it just brings up the search.
Oh, well, one moment then, sir. Okay, sorry, my bad. But one of my favorite episodes, and I think it might be the first episode of season 1 of Batman the Animated Series. It's when he does the It's a Wonderful Life episode with Robin. And I think it just sets the tone immediately for who Batman is as a person, because, and I think for me, It's a Wonderful Life is like one of my favorite Christmas films of all time. Like, every year I have to watch it Christmas Eve. Like, if I don't watch It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve, it's a ruined Christmas for me. And the fact that it's about this whole episode, how Robin wants to watch a Christmas movie with Batman, but Batman says to him, like, I don't like it because I don't think it's...
I never got past the title.
Got past the title.
Line.
Yeah. To me, it hits, but at the same time, it's exactly who Batman is. It's exactly who Bruce is, And I love that finally at the end, the relationship between him and Robin, that Robin's able to kind of peel the layers back on him a little bit to enjoy the moment, and watch the movie and actually go like, yeah, this is good. And I do love that. I do love that episode a ton. And I think it's highly underrated. But Corey, are you able to pull up that clip, sir?
Yep, working on it right now for you.
All right, thank you, sir. But yeah, it's so cool to hear all these episodes, these moments that you guys have really fallen in love with. Out of curiosity, guys, did any of you get to see? Well, I guess let's do this. What was your favorite? What was your favorite out of all the Batman animated movies? I know we said Mask of Phantasm. How did you guys feel about the Killing Joke one? I know that one was good, and then some people say it's controversial.
I loved it, just having a chance to see a Batman animated movie in a theater like that. Like to me, that's what it. Even if I found some of the creative choices initially questionable, we have to remember that the Killing Joke is a very short story. It's not lengthy by any means, and really, the idea of turning it into an animated movie, if you really are going to turn it into an animated movie, you have to add more material to it. So I don't really take any points away from it for them doing that, because they wanted to make it a feature length project, and they did get all of the canonical beats in the story. But they did take a lot of liberties too. But again, I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was really, really amazing. Just the fact that Killing Joke exists as an animated film.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was great that they did it. I know they kind of pushed the envelope to make it even more R-rated, which I didn't think they need to do. The comic itself could have been just R-rated if they followed it, but of course, they added a little flair to it, a little creative liberties to give it that extra R-rated push. But Mark Hamill, especially when he does that the Looney song in there, is just freaking brilliant of Mark Hamill, as an actor. But Batan, what's your thoughts?
I liked it when it was the Killing Joke, but I understand. I don't complain that they added stuff to the Killing Joke, but they didn't need. They could have just done this without, Batman and Batgirl. I didn't like it when they did. I didn't like that they mentioned that was the thing in Batman Beyond. To be honest with you, I've never been a fan of the Batman-Batgirl relationship. Just too much of an age difference, and he dated his foster son, so. That was basically it. But in general, I did like the movie. Especially when it's the Killing Joke, I loved it. It was on that. If you take out the first half hour, it's perfect in my opinion. And really, if you take out the sex scene, it's still pretty damn good. I'd give it I have to see it again to really rate it, but it was. I liked it. Just took out some stuff would be better.
Yeah. How about you, Taladia?
I know that the movie is controversial. In terms of because of certain scenes, but I think Kevin Conroy pulls off a really good performance in terms of the Killing Joke, and I think that is probably one of many films that he's done in terms of Batman portrayals. But one of my favorite is Batman Gotham Knights, where he did six shorts, and it was like something similar to Batman Begins. I think it takes place after Batman Begins, before The Dark Knight. And it literally, those shorts that he did were pretty amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Slade? What favorite Batman animated movie? Killing Joke up there, or?
Well, as far as the Killing Joke goes, I liked the second part of it. I liked the part what was just the book, but everything beforehand, I think it would have worked better if they just put it under the DC Showcase thing. That way it could have been shorter, and they could have just done it like the book. Know how they had those Jonah Hex and the Catwoman and the Green Arrow, whatever.
I think the only reason why they did it up like that was just because they wanted to make it a feature film, because it's such a big title. But I agree with you. If they would have just did it as like a DC Showcase kind of a thing, fans would have received it a lot better because of the faithfulness of the book. I actually saw not too long ago a fan edit that was done where they just did it like what you said, where it was just like a DC Showcase kind of thing, and they did just the stuff that actually happened in the book, and they actually changed the color palette to make it look exactly like the comic. I mean, it was really good.
Did they do that for the whole book section, or did they just do the trailer? Because I remember just seeing the trailer for it.
I think they did it I think they did a full-fledged fan edit.
Oh,
I saw the one you're talking about where they did the trailer like that. Yeah, but I think they did a fan edit completely where they did the whole story.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they so I mean that's awesome stuff.
But as far as my favorite Kevin Conroy Batman movie is, it would probably, goodness, is it? I really like Return of the Joker a lot, especially in those flashback scenes whenever he's trying to get to Tim. Whenever what happens, with whenever he's trying to get in, he's all like, Tim, no.
Which version?
The not the censored one. The actual real one was sadder.
Good.
I love how Batte's like, I gotta test this real quick. Corey, can you pull up? Do you have that 9/11 video?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. If you wouldn't mind. I love this video so much because I think it's just like one of those scenes where, like I was talking about earlier,
you don't one, right, Trey?
I'm gonna have to go. Sorry,
no
I can't
worries,
stay.
Slade. It's good to see you, bud. Thank you for stopping by, man. And
Thank you.
we'll hope to see you soon.
Thank you. I'll leave.
It's this one, Trey. I know that voice.
Yep. So
Okay,
here's
right
a special thing that happened first off, we got to address the super chat real quick. Vega, my man, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. He says, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Him as Batman, the animated series, is where it started for me. Tuned in, but hope to hop on once I'm done. Ian, lost a legend today. Yeah, absolutely, man. We definitely did. And hopefully, this is going to be a bit of a quicker show because Corey and I do have to jump over to another show that we're doing later on today. But hopefully you can make it, Vega, if you can. I would love to hear your thoughts, man, and just everything you have to say about Kevin Conroy. But thank you so much for that $5 super chat, sir. Corey, do you want me to go ahead and play something because you have...
Nope, I can play something.
Oh, go ahead.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
That's so iconic.
That's such a good scene.
And when you think about that, like that line, and I know it's been said in the comics, but having it finally heard,
How has it been said like that?
It hasn't been said like that, but like, you know, it was one of the themes that made it iconic to where it was used heavily as the theme for the recent Matt Reeves The Batman film, however you feel about it. But nonetheless, calling himself Vengeance was very much inspired by using what Kevin Conroy did in the animated series.
But when Kevin Conroy did it, it actually made sense.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I mean,
we won't debate that, but like, I think
I
it's
mean-
just inspiration once again that Kevin Conroy will forever, even the actors who take on the cape and cowl will always look back to Kevin Conroy's portrayal of the character to see how they should incorporate some of those things.
Yeah, I mean, also, it's the fun fact is Kevin Conroy used that line in Batman Arkham Knight towards the end. There is a scene of it with Joker.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
with the Joker.
With the Joker, so
Great
he
moment.
says it's a great moment, a great scene. So it was definitely recollection from the animated series. So there is some stuff to take away from that, like, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's lore there. Yeah.
Corey, can you go ahead and play this moment where Kevin Conroy talks about he did some service work after 9/11. Obviously, the country was hurting, and just finding a way to give back and take care of people in New York. And here's a little story that he had to tell.
Yep, you ready?
Yep. Oh, we can't. I don't think we can hear anything, Corey.
Oh, let me try removing it and bring it back in real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Wonder Wife says the world has a little less justice in it today. All true. Yeah. Something. Oh, you got to back up.
Yep.
Let's see.
Ready?
Right. Yep. Go ahead.
I live in New York, and I after the attacks on 9/11, we were getting all these, hundreds of meals ready, and this one guy in the middle of the night, like 3 nights into this, he goes, "So my day job is I'm an architect." He says, "What's your day job?" I said, "Well, I do voices mostly." But I knew it. He said, "You're the guy who does Batman. You're that Kevin." So he goes into this dining hall. And this is, the first week after the attack, and there's been like just this somber sadness. And you hear him go, guys, you're not going to believe who's been cooking your dinners. It's Batman. Just long silence. And you hear, bullshit, from the back of the place. And then someone else says, make him prove it. So I thought, oh, this is good. So I'm in the back kitchen. And I do from the back kitchen, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Just long pause, and then you hear from the back of the place, holy that is Batman. We were laughing. And the architect who had recognized me said, what's it feel like to be Santa Claus? I said, because that's what just happened to you.
Oh man, I love that story so much because like us as fans, we'd probably catch on pretty quick. Like, hold on, saying that's Batman, and you could just tell like what a like awesome like moment for him to be like, I'm gonna screw with these guys. Like, yep, I am Batman, and do his iconic line. And he had a great sense of humor too. Like the video that he did with Tim Daly and his son for I don't even remember what it was for, but Tim Daly was doing like his son was doing like little short videos, and they did this whole Kevin Conroy versus Tim Daly video, and it was just hilarious because they basically reenacted the Dark Knight Returns. But it's just, yeah, I mean, it's great. It's all funny. And I just would like to bring up a few, obviously, the loss of Kevin Conroy today. And Corey, when you have another moment, go ahead and pull up that other video that I sent a link in.
Okay.
But all the celebrities that have tweeted out today, like Clancy Brown, who voiced Lex Luthor in the Justice League and Superman animated show, happened to say on Twitter, Bruce imagined him, Andrea found him, and once found, Kevin kicked the door open for all of us to bring you to the amazing characters of the DCAU. Kevin, my friend, my colleague, my hero, will miss you terribly. You are a singular soul. Thank you. Now rest. Yeah. And Susan Eisenberg, who played Wonder Woman, Wonder Bat. Like for so many of you, Kevin was our Batman. He was loved beyond measure, and he felt it. There was nothing he loved more than to stand up and yell out to a crowd that had gathered to meet him, I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Well, maybe one thing. Kevin loved to sing, and if you had the pleasure of hearing him, like I did on many, many occasions, belt out, Am I Blue? You couldn't help but swoon like a schoolgirl. As I did on many, many occasions, the man could sing. Kevin was the most decent of men. He was kind, smart, talented, and deeply appreciative of a career that spanned decades. He leaves behind a legacy that will never be matched or forgotten. To his legion of fans, I am so sorry, but please know that he saw you and he loved you too. And then, of course, many different artists and comic book writers like James Tynion, completely heartbroken over the one. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, the only Batman voice I'll ever hear in my head. Paul Dini, who did the Batman animated series, showed his condolences. Tom Keene just simply said, "Oh, Batman, my Batman." Even people like Wayne T. Carr showed their respects to Kevin Conroy. Troy Baker, Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Flash in Justice League.
Flash.
What's that?
He was the Flash in Justice.
Oh, he was. Yeah, that's true. Yes, he was also Flash in Justice League. Said, devastating. Kevin was a remarkable man inside and out. I will truly miss those big hugs and that magical voice. You'll always be my Batman. Rest in peace, my friend. Greg Capullo lost another icon. Rest in peace, Mr. Conroy. Just so many people. John DiMaggio tweeted about the loss of Kevin Conroy. Everyone had something to say.
Even Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, the Joker. Yep, he talked about his beautiful moments. Even Kevin Smith wrote a really nice post on Instagram and a little clip of when Kevin Conroy happened to do a film with him. Everyone is feeling the loss. Everyone is feeling the pain of losing Kevin Conroy. And I think it did catch everyone by surprise, sadly. But it looks like we do have another panel member joining us tonight. My boy from the Watchtower, Jeffrey Warfield. How you doing, sir?
Oh, sorry.
Here, I can have.
Yeah, can you bring him in?
There you go.
I'm trying to get it.
Sorry, I know you're busy. You're doing stuff on the back end. How's it going, Jeffrey?
Really, honestly, still kind of shaken by the news about Kevin Conroy's passing. Like when I actually first saw the news, like I actually had to take a seat because I couldn't believe it like everyone else. like it was like I first like when I first heard his Batman voice in Justice League the animated series, like that really was the first time I actually heard a Batman voice, and really it's just I'm just really shaken and really sad that he's gone, but at least he won't be forgotten.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a rough loss, and as Batan mentioned earlier, Mark Hamill did tweet out, and he said, "Stunned by the loss of this brilliant actor. Words can express my admiration and respect for the man. I loved him like a brother. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy." And even Susan Eisenberg once again said this would have been spectacular, heartbroken, it never happened. And she's referring to the Justice League Unlimited reunion that was potentially in the plans. Which, yeah, I would have, how I feel about that. I would have been all about that. Because I think I watch Justice League, the animated show, and Justice League Unlimited maybe 2 times a year, maybe 2 to 3 times a year at least. I put it on repeat. Like I finish it and then I go back and start from the beginning again because I just love that show so damn much. Another group that talked about it, even O'Shea Jackson, who is Ice Cube's son, said, "My goodness, this hurts. Thank you, Mr. Conroy, for your work as the Cape Crusader. Your voice is the first in my head whenever I see illustrations of the bat. And I'm sure many feel the same. You'll be cemented in our minds and our hearts for eternity. Farewell to you, Batman." And Rocksteady Studios, he did the Arkham game, said, "Rest in peace, our Dark Knight. You defined Batman for an entire generation, and Gotham will never be the same." Even Ray Porter said, "My deepest respects and gratitude to Kevin Conroy, a true gentleman." Everyone, like I said, you cannot find a single person that didn't have something, good to say about Kevin Conroy. And more importantly, just kind of what Zod has said over and over again is that when they think of Batman, they hear his voice. Everyone's saying that. And I think that's important to know. Wonder Bat, as always. Yep, absolutely, honey. Where are you, by the way? Never mind. Don't answer that. Are you home now? Like, put your knee up. Corey, do you have that other video pulled up, sir?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Let's go ahead and watch this. This is kind of similar to the documentary that Zod was talking about before. It's from The Great Big Story, and it's titled "Meet the Voice of Batman." It's a quick little 5-minute video, I believe, of Kevin Conroy talking about his time on the animated series. Damn Batman. And you know what? If anyone who is because I mean, someone has already played an animated Batman. Bruce Greenwood,
tons of them now.
Yeah. I mean, Jensen Ackles.
They really branched out Batman. I mean, as an animated character, and everybody brings their own spin to it. It's not,
Yeah, but I think anyone who gets that, I feel like everyone's like a kid when they hear that. Like I've heard Jensen Ackles talk about it, and he was like, when he found out he was going to be voicing Batman, he was like, "Holy shit! Like yes, like this could be the greatest scene ever," And then I think there's always that element of, "Oh shit." There's the little kid moment of the initial news, and then there's the "oh shit" moment. How the hell do I honor and respect Kevin Conroy and what came before, right? And even Kevin Conroy gave his own spin because, like, very much the Batman the Animated Series was banking off of the success of the 1989 Batman film with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton. And people are expecting that version of Batman, but in a sense, Kevin Conroy brought a whole new element, new layer to it that, I'm just going to say it. It was far better than Michael Keaton's take on the character.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that just goes to show how talented this man was. And while he never read a comic in his life and really only knew the Adam West version of the Batman, he brought his A game to this. He gave Batman a whole nother level that was complex and beautiful, and it kept growing. What was a spark became a bonfire, of creativity and vision. After watching that video clip, guys, what's your thoughts? What's your take? Did you hear him say anything that was like, oh wow, I didn't know that, or just tell me your reaction.
Really for me, what really grabbed my attention was, even though it was kind of funny in a very ironic sense, is that when he talked about his audition and about how the people in the studio were like dead silent and he thought he messed up, even though that was like silence was a good thing. Like, I think that is really what everyone thinks about whenever there's a audition. Like, why are they quiet? Did I mess up? and it turned out that he was just that good. Like, they were just in such awe about his audition. So
yeah,
I think that to me was like, even though he was like a great Batman, even though he did have a great voice in his audition, he thought he messed up, which is pretty relatable.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like one of those things where I get the feeling, and I loved what Beyond the Night said here. They knew he was Batman from the get-go, and they were scared shitless. They probably did. They probably heard that voice and went like, oh my god, that's Batman. And before obviously he was auditioning. I can't imagine who were the other voices. They probably all tried something Batman.
Hello there, Governor. Where are the other drugs going?
Where are the drugs going? Or I'm Batman. I don't know. Who knows what other people tried? But I think just as how we heard it the first time, I think it just was natural. Everyone felt like, yes, that is the voice of Batman. Talati, what was your reaction to that video? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, obviously, I knew about his audition role for Batman because he originally was doing what's it called, theater work.
Yes.
Originally, so I think there's a documentary of it about how the animated series became the animated series to what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in depth of how they got Kevin Conroy to play Batman, because originally he wasn't going to play Batman, and it was going to be somebody else. But yeah, I just think he knocked it out of the park, and to this day, that is the standard for Batman. No matter what people say, people always have to use Kevin Conroy as an example for future films, like animated films, or even live action as well. People always have to go back and look, hey, Kevin Conroy did this. Maybe we can interpret it in our own way, but there's the inspiration for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Batman? What's your thoughts and reactions to that quick little Meet the Voice of Batman video?
I didn't know he was such a big theater actor. I thought that was really interesting, and I loved how he kind of used his theater technique in his audition. That really stood out to me. But I think the bigger thing is that in that video, the way he just was with his fans, like, not just a great actor, but just genuinely a great person. That really, in some ways, is even more important, is that, he just, the way he just would do the voice of Batman just to make people happy, with that in the 9/11 video, and how everyone just wanted to hug him, and just, like he had this like just this great demeanor about him, and just it just that really stood out to me.
You know, sorry, go ahead,
real quick,
Smoker.
I love this comment from Nicholas. He said, yes, Kevin Conroy will forever be the Batman template. And similar to what Zod said, you know, the talks of, oh, you can't cast another animated series Batman actor, voice actor anymore. No, you know, let Kevin Conroy, you know, be honored, but, you know, he will be like Nicholas said, he will always be the Batman template, you know, moving forward. And really, you know, everything that we hear and think and do, we always hear, you know, Kevin Conroy's voice. So
yeah, and even like real quick, you were talking about live action, about how he's even the template on there. Like we say, we agree. Like a lot of us agree that Ben Affleck is the best live action adaptation of Batman, but we think overall of the best Batman overall is Kevin Conroy. So it's like even though we say Ben Affleck is, even though we say this is the best version of Batman in this area, we still think of Kevin Conroy as the best Batman overall.
Yeah. And you know, I feel like one thing that I think is important with anyone that takes on the role of a superhero character is understanding that you're not just taking on the responsibilities of the character you're playing, the person you are trying to, you know, in a way possess and portrayal, you know, but to understand what it means to the people that love that character. And Christopher Reeves was amazing at it. George Reeves, even Adam West embraced the responsibilities of being Batman, and Kevin Conroy even embraced it, you know, to where everyone who saw him, he did not shy away from the fact that he had been playing the same character for 30 years. He took it as he owned it, right? He owned it. It was his, you know, this was his iconic role that people loved him for it. And people probably asked him the same questions over and over again, but he still took the time to be like, oh yeah, tell me, like, what's your favorite? What do you get out of it? You know, because he loved knowing that you were finding passion in this character that he had passion for over 30 years. Batman, well, actually, Talati, we asked you, right, about what your reaction. Okay, so it is Batman.
It's Batman and Zod.
Okay,
I already went.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so it's Zod. Sorry, I was like, we're mixing all around here.
Yeah, it went crazy. Yeah,
Zod, what was your reaction and thoughts to that video?
You know, it's a beautiful representation of real life. I've been in theater before. I've auditioned for roles. I've gotten roles. And so I understand that experience. If you've ever auditioned for any type of a role, whether it be in the theater or for an audio drama or for any kind of anything as an actor in any way, you can relate to what Kevin Conroy was going through in that video. And that's absolutely amazing, because it shows you he's a human being, just like the rest of us. Yeah, he's Batman, but he's a human being. So it's he's
a human being making lunches, you know, for the firefighters at the
right. I mean, you know, so it shows you how down to earth he is, and how he's, you know, he's not playing up the fact everywhere he goes that, yeah, I'm Batman. No, he's not doing that. He's got all of these. He's got a regular life to live. He's a regular person, and that's one of the things that makes him so great. You know, that he separates himself from the roles he plays and doesn't, but he also acknowledges and clearly honors the roles that he plays as well. So that's a beautiful thing to see. And yeah, watching this video right now with you guys is just bittersweet, man. I mean,
I mean, there's also like he's done like like not voice acting. He's done like sentences from the films and played as himself as Batman. I don't know if you've seen that on YouTube,
Yeah.
but there's a
Yeah.
video of it where he's done different Batman films, taking sentences like from The Dark Knight, from the Lego Movie, from Batman Forever, so on and so forth. And he's literally done that, and I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool that
And,
he's done that.
and imagine the humility and the humbleness towards that. Like, people want you to take a line from a movie that another actor has done, and honestly, like, a lot of them ones that they had him do were like iconic lines that really like took that movie to the top because it was brilliant dialogue. And they're like, please, can you say it for us, because we need, like, Christian Bale said it great, Ben Affleck said it great, Michael Keaton said it great, like, but can we hear Batman actually say it? That's how people kind of took it. And rather than looking at that as like, oh, well, that's not my line, it's like, oh, well, yeah, sure, yeah, here you go, this is how Batman would say it, and I think that just goes to show of what people thought of him. He was on this pedestal, and rightfully so, for so many people. Guys, as we kind of come, Super Bro, first off, I'll let you have your reaction and thoughts before we start to wrap this up to get to our next show.
Yeah, just absolutely beautiful what he said, and it was beautiful hearing his voice, throughout the show today so far, and even that, just reading in the comments, watching people and seeing our faces, start to get choked up, listening to him. It's going to be a tough loss. I think the biggest thing that I want to suggest is kind of like you like to do, Trey, on your Sunday chill days. I didn't know Perchance to Dream, which is season 1, episode 26, is his favorite episode. And I don't know if you are available for a quick run, but maybe it'd be fun to do a watch party Sunday of that particular episode. I think they still have them on HBO Max and everything like that.
I believe so. And you know what? I think we could make that happen.
That sounds great.
I also,
and anybody who wants to join, that I think that'd be fun.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, and if anything, what I want to do, I didn't have enough time to kind of plan it and think it through. I want to make whether that's the watch party, which we'll do very soon. Maybe we'll do that show because it's probably a 20-minute episode, and maybe we'll add the animated Batman movie, one of them, to it. Yeah. I'll put like a voting panel so people can vote which one we do. But I would like to do like we've done before, where we raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention or Feeding America. I would like to raise money for like cancer. I'll try to figure out what exactly cancer it should, that foundation it should go to, but I'll do some research on that. So to be tuned, to be continued on that.
To be tuned.
To be tuned. Stay tuned.
Can't think straight. We have a question here, but real quick, we have another guest in the house.
Ooh, who is it?
My boy Vega.
Vega, sir, thank you so much for that $5 super chat earlier, brother. How you been, man?
I'm doing as good as anybody could be today, I think, just reminiscing on just my childhood, watching Batman the Animated Series, Batman and Robin, sometimes they had it early in the morning, so it's like I'd wake up early just to catch it before going to school, and then after a while they had it afterwards, like I'd just get out of school, and watch it then, and I'd make little comic strips of my own of that, whatever I saw on whichever episode I saw, and this. It really that whole animated series, his voice is the reason I'm a Batman fan today. You know what I mean? That was the inception of it all. And even when I think of like the Ben Affleck Batman, the reason that Batman resonates so much with me is not just because it's such a great Batman, but it's because it reminds me of the Batman animated series Batman. And I think that's why I love the Ben Affleck Batman the most. And so yeah, it's like I said, it's you could only remember the good things that came out of it, but it does suck that, you know, a legend is lost today to us. And I don't know if there'll ever be anybody as iconic as that, you know, to have the honor and privilege of having that mantle of being Batman. I mean, there's no other way to word it. He was Batman, you know. So yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, it's crazy. But I appreciate you guys doing this whole live stream, just hearing you guys also, you know, sharing your piece. It's and then just reading the live chats. It's you know this guy impacted so many people, like and he's gonna be missed for sure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I was hesitant to do a show. Honestly, I felt like canceling a lot of things. I felt like canceling our watch party that we're about to jump to, and felt like maybe not even doing our Star Wars stream. But it's like, because I was hurt. I mean, you guys saw probably some of my videos earlier today that like I was crying, grown ass man crying, right, about a dude he never met. But like that's like literally when I say there would be no Bat Channel without Kevin Conroy, that is 100% facts. Because when I was a little boy watching Batman the Animated Series, my parents had this rocking chair that I used to. Mom probably doesn't know this. Sorry, Mom, I messed up your rocking chair. I used to put it on its side so that the legs of the rocking chair would look like the bat wings of a Batmobile, and then I'd get under the rocking chair and I would put on Batman the Animated Series and just be like, you know, put on tie in my underwear as a little kid, you know, and just start driving around like Batman in the rocking chair. And Dad would come out and just be like, "That's my son." Yeah. You know? Go back into the room and let Mom sleep, you know, tell her like, "Hey, your son just messed up the rocking chair again." You know, but that's awesome. That love for that animated show and who Batman is, like literally that's what started it all for me, and what has led to this passion and some people would say, probably my wife, an obsession with Batman.
Obsession. Don't worry, Michael has said the same.
Yeah. But guys, as we kind of come to the end
real
of
quick,
this,
Trey, quick, Nicholas wanted to ask the panel real quick, how did you feel when Kevin got to play Batman and Bruce in Crisis of Infinite Earths? He's currently watching on Facebook, so wanted to give a shout out to our Facebook watch team. So
first off, Nicholas, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm not sure if this was your first time joining us, and I appreciate you watching through Facebook. That's really cool. I'll speak real quick and then I'll let everyone else go around and talk about when I heard Kevin Conroy was finally going to be a live action Batman / Bruce Wayne, especially from the Kingdom Come kind of version of him. Right. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I had stopped watching the Arrowverse when they were about to do Crisis, Infinite Crisis, and then that immediately got me back on, on the Arrowverse train to watch just Kevin Conroy. And you know what? It was sweet, and he had a great line that was very similar to what we heard in like BVS. He was, he didn't disappoint. It was wonderful to finally see him be a live action Batman. I wish there was more of that. But I enjoyed it. How about let's do Zod, then Batman, Taladia, Jeffrey.
I was my feelings were kind of mixed. I have to be honest. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I was happy for him to be playing Batman in live action finally, but I felt like he was underutilized, and I felt like they could have done him better. They could have let him play a more intelligent, more nuanced Batman instead of giving him the role of just a Batman that's lost all hope. And I just felt like Kevin Conroy deserved better because he played such an iconic version of the character for so long. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Batman, the animated series Batman, live action. I wanted them to give that gift to Kevin Conroy if they were going to go that far. And I just felt like they did him a disservice. So to be honest, I was disappointed. I can't lie and say that I thought it was the greatest thing ever. But it was nice to see Kevin Conroy finally get to play a version of live action Batman. I just wish it was more. That's
right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did wish it was more. I think just being excited to see Kevin Conroy got me happy. You know? I was just like, yes!
You got back on the rocking chair.
Yeah. Grabbed the old rocking chair again. Couldn't fit under it this time, but Batman's thoughts. What did you think about Kevin Conroy finally being a live action Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths?
When I heard about the news, I was excited, but be honest, my take is pretty much like Zod writers. I think they didn't do a good job writing him. Kevin Conroy did a good job portraying him, but my biggest issue is that they basically used him to prop up Batwoman, and just the general thing I don't like when you feel like you have to downplay the male hero to prop up the female hero, and that's what they did with Batman. To be honest, I hate that that's his only live action version of Batman, because I'm just going to be honest, it wasn't good.
I agree.
I have to be honest. I wasn't even going to say this honestly on this panel, but since it was asked, I had to.
That's right. I always appreciate honesty rather than bullshit, you know?
Right.
But Talati, what was your thoughts on Crisis on Infinite Earths?
I thought that, I'm like Zod Rider. I thought it wasn't I thought it was cool that he got to play a live action, but to be honest with you, I don't think that was his best performance in a live action version, because in terms of the way the Earth was set, it was like Earth 96 or whatnot, and it didn't make any sense, and I was just like a bit confused on that front. So I ain't gonna lie about that, but it's not his best performance in terms of portraying Bruce Wayne on the show, because he had the rocks and everything, and I was just like a lot of confusion there.
That's fair. Jeffrey, how about you, sir?
Well, really kind of like preaching, guess, continue to preach to the choir, I guess. like to me, the moment was great, but really just like how Bad Dan said, like, I feel like it was kind of like a wasted. I won't say it was wasted, because it's still like a really special moment, but it's kind of like, I think what for me was, I think it was a really great moment, but I was kind of expecting something along the lines of what you said about like a Batman the Animated Series Batman, and even though he portrayed it well, it's just that I think that, like everyone else, I was kind of expecting something more, but I still think that it really was a great moment to see, because I think everyone was thinking about around that time that we probably weren't going to see Kevin Conroy portray a live action version of Bruce Wayne / Batman. So yeah, at least he got to see him portray a Bruce Wayne and a live action Batman before he sadly passed.
Yeah. How about you, Vega?
Well, I guess I'm not just going to repeat everything that everybody else said, but, but what I will say is, I think it's similar to what Chu said, is that seeing him come back as like the Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
He was Bruce Wayne in the show, not Batman.
True.
But to see him come back as that, what that symbolized and what that meant was heavy, right? Because like the idea of even the Kingdom Come Superman is like, oh well, that's the Superman like of old, but like, you know, in this version or this version of him that's like, you know, just outstanding or whatever, like iconic, whatever. And that's even how they portrayed it in the show, right? Like they used um, Brandon Ross Superman to be the Kingdom Come Superman, but we know that that's really supposed to be the Christopher Reeve Superman, and that's why was symbolic in such a great way. Similar to that, it was the same thing with Kevin Conroy being this Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne. It's like because he is the Batman, you know. So that in itself for me was like what meant the most about that is what it symbolized, and that to me is like at least that I could say salute to that for them doing that, and it was cool to see because it was almost like if the live action or if Batman the animated series Batman, you know, was live action, that was it, and we know he is like if you saw Batman Beyond, you kind of know where that goes, right? He becomes the older Bruce Wayne, and so mentally that's kind of what I was seeing when I saw him, and then he's in that like mech suit, you know, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, you know, that so I will say that like, you know, not to repeat what everybody said because I do agree with what everybody said as far as that goes, but what I will say is hats off to what it symbolized, and it was cool to see that happen.
That's fair. I dig that take. Corey, did you ever watch that Crisis? I may have sent you the clip.
So I watched the clips. I didn't watch the entire Crisis. I would say, long story short, anytime live action recognizes Kevin Conroy as a freaking goat of the Batman, you know, culture, that says a lot and speaks a lot to who he was and what he did for the role and character of Batman. So I do like that they gave him respect. Now, can I join the Never Satisfied crew and say I wanted more? Absolutely. You know, I'm there with you guys. But yeah, no, you know, I also wanted more Tom Welling as well. So
you just wanted more Lois. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We all wanted more Lois.
Right.
Corey, I'm with you there, man. Don't worry. I'm with you there.
Well, as we come to wrap it
Hey,
up.
quick shout out, Millionaire Insight. Thanks for the sub, buddy.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I'm guessing is this Nick?
Nicholas,
Nick, oh yeah, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate and hope to see you around more often and get your thoughts on things. Thank you for subscribing, guys. As we start to wrap it up a bit, let's all just go around in the panel with your final thoughts about today and Kevin Conroy's legacy, and tell us what you got coming up on your channels. Let's start just going down the list. That was Zod, Batin, Talata. You guys see how it's going.
Well, I just want to say rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, and I want to say thank you to you, Trey, for doing this stream today. This was very touching and fun to be here with all of you, sharing memories and thoughts on this iconic Batman actor. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing, and when we can have essentially memorials like this, it just goes to show how, you know, connected we all are. It shows how positive we all are, and it's just another beautiful example of how far we've come. And but as far as what I've got coming up, you're gonna be able to see me this weekend with the Savage Bat and the Kryptonian on Saturday, of course, and you'll probably see me around on a bunch of different stuff, and I may have a couple of things going on next week as well, a new episode of the Zod Rider Show, and of course, late night Q&A. So thank you for having me, Trey. This was a beautiful stream.
Thank you, man. Yeah, this was as much as it was for you guys as it was for me, because I was down. I was crying all day. Trust me, my eyes are still stinging from the amount of tears I had. But this helped me so much to hear from you guys, for sure. Batman, what do you got going on, big fella?
Well, thank you to Trey for doing this. I was really glad I could just come up here and just talk about what Kevin Conroy meant to me, to us all. I was really happy to do that. And actually, I was debating what my next topic on Bat Dan's thoughts was going to be, but I decided that with this week that I'm going to do a review of Mask of Phantasm. I'll do that as kind of a tribute to Kevin Conroy, and I'll give a little spiel before and at the end of what about Kevin Conroy, just saying rest in peace. So I have to watch I'll rewatch Mask of Phantasm tonight to get a fresh perspective on it, and I'll get my review recorded sometime this weekend. So be on the lookout for that.
Sweet, man. That's gonna be awesome. Can't wait for that. Talati, my boy, what you got going on?
Well, firstly, thanks to you, Trey and Corey, for doing this great stream and allowing me to have my thoughts on this great person, Kevin Conroy, who portrayed Batman for most of my childhood. But what I've going on my channel is that I'm not only am I going to be doing my review for Gotham Knights next week, but I'm also going to have the Bat channel on my channel, and we're going to be planning that up. We're going to be talking this week in DC, DCU, we should say, and it's going to be a great show. So you guys probably want to tune in for that, and it's going to be on a Saturday, maybe Saturday evening for me, and Saturday 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you guys in the States.
Cool. Yeah, but I know we're still talking about that time, and I was like, cool. That I think that works out good because I know we do our Delta Squad streams earlier on Saturday morning, so I think that'll work out just in time. Excited for that, Talai. That's gonna be fun to finally join you for a show, my man. Jeffrey, the Watchtower. What you got going on, sir?
First off, I want to say thank you, Trey and Corey, for doing this memorial stream for Kevin Conroy. It's great to hear what everyone thought about Kevin Conroy and what he meant to people, and he will be missed but not forgotten. And as for my channel, I've really been quiet on my channel for a little bit, but what I got going for my channel is actually working on a kind of like a Joker. It's kind of like a Joker's Chronicles script that I'm doing. That's going to be that I guess you can kind of say is going to be an interesting take on how to make a movie. Like, it's going to be basically kind of like the origins of the Joker told in a Dr. Seuss format. And what it is that it's basically going to be a origin on Jared Leto on the Snyderverse Joker. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting because the interesting thing is that Bruce, Deathstroke, and the Joker are actually kind of like a trio. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting for you guys to find out. And yeah.
Awesome, dude. Looking forward to that. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us today, sir. And now my boy Vega, thank you so much for joining us I know it was the very end, but I'm glad you could make it just a little bit.
We have one more too in the backstage still real quick as well.
Okay, Corey, would you at some point be able to open up the other stream to the watch party? Because I know it's about to start in a few minutes, and just tell people it might be like a couple minutes late.
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you, sir. Cool. Let's go ahead and bring in. Let's Vega. Go ahead and tell us your final thoughts and what you got coming up.
No, for sure. Again, like everybody else is saying, thank you guys for doing this live stream. I think we all wanted to, just be able to reach out to each other and talk about these things. I came in late. I thought you were gonna come in at 7 my time, so I thought I had time to chow down these wings and then hop on. But I was trying out some chicken wings, lemon pepper, of course. But no, in all serious though, just rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. As we've said, from my childhood as a kid, he's been Batman since then, and even till now. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's been he's been Batman, like, and not because what he did with Batman the animated series only, but because no, like they literally cast this guy every time to be Batman in every like animated series, movie,
Yeah.
up till like literally Super Pets. You know,
Yeah.
so he's been Batman my whole life, you know, up to this point. And so, you know, again, his loss it's heavy, and he's gonna be missed. His just that iconic voice as Batman. Uh, and honestly, it's gonna take some time for whoever fills in the shoes, whoever carries the cowl next, in whatever animated adaptation comes next, and it's gonna be hard to hear a different voice, but I'm sure I'll come around. But yeah, he's gonna be missed, man, for sure. And again, thank you guys for doing this. As far as what I got going on, it's just well, my music coming that I just dropped, the Vega pamphlet. I want to my next live. I think is gonna be on. I've been wanting to break down Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League from a philosophical standpoint on what I believe the lesson is there. That I'm not so sure. I haven't heard anybody talk about it yet, which is kind of surprising considering that there's like it's like literally the same push forward lesson in every single one of those films, and I kind of want to break it down and its relevance to what it derives from, and how it why does it resonate with the viewer so much? What pulls you? Why does it pull at your very inner being every time you see this on film or whatever the case may be? But yeah, so it's that's gonna be my next thing going live.
That's gonna be awesome, dude. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I would love to hear your philosophical breakdowns, because there's so much you could do with BVS and
100%.
how deep you can get into it, man. It's very there's just a lot to peel back on BVS for sure. I'm really looking forward to that. Corey, let's go ahead and bring in our last panel member to give. Sorry, Alessandro, I know it's kind of a dude. First off, digging the dope ass Knight helmet. But I know it's towards the end. Sorry that it is towards the end, but just give us your final thoughts, sir, and tell us what you got going on.
This is not trying to. This is, by the way, good evening, guys. This is not meant to be a joke, but at least I don't feel comfortable right now expressing with my face, so I didn't found something else.
No worries.
And considering the night that we lost today, I thought it could be at least thematically respectful. I think he was a humble man, and if I can say anything else, may his spirit always be remembered, and his soul always will be in peace. You know, at least from my perspective, if you see beyond just the material reality, there's a lot more that we can appreciate about the person that passed away. And you know, in this case, we are talking about a person that not only just put a voice of a character, but he genuinely was interested on telling a great story, on giving. He was an artisan. He wasn't just there to, hey, I'm going to throw my voice and do whatever with it. No, he was invested. He was an actor, and that's anyone that creates beauty. I think it's already bringing something that cannot be destroyed, because beauty and art, art, and truth are elements that are unchangeable, and they don't die.
Agreed.
Not even a big boy. The beauty of a nice piece of art. That's what makes it beautiful. And even if we don't feel and we won't have him anymore physically, we can at least be sure that love never dies. So that was a bit of what I tried to, at least I've been trying to think to say it in a proper manner, and that's it, man. I hope you guys are doing fine.
Well said, man, and I appreciate you so much coming on Mask of Shy. Seriously, brother, it's been a long time since we see you, man, and it's always good to see you when you are here And I really appreciate your thoughts and your feelings on that. And we're with you, bro. We feel the loss, we feel the pain of this iconic man and voice for this character that we all know and love, and he will forever be remembered. He is the legend. He is the Batman, Kevin Conroy. And I just thank you so much, Mask of Shy, for joining us for this little portion. And hopefully we can see you again soon, brother. It's always good to see you. Corey, I noticed we have a few super chats, and then we'll hop over.
Yeah, real quick, we just give a shout out to Skywalker for rest in peace. Kevin Conroy, $5 super chat.
Thank you so much.
Seven, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy, $5 super chat. And $4.99, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy super chat. I think what I'd like to say real quick, I guess let me since Sugar 8 said it again, I'm going to play this one again because I don't want to play the other one quite yet.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Thank you so much, Rich, and everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we'll, like I said, I'd like to invite everybody back. I think Sunday, Trey, sometime we'll put together the Perchance a Dream watch party for Kevin Conroy and do another kind of remembrance watch party for him on Sunday. You still?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so yeah, bud.
Go ahead, Corey. What are you gonna do?
No. It's just a sad day. It's extremely sad day, and I'm blessed to be able to share and celebrate the life of Kevin Conroy and what he meant to us as being Batman. Kevin Conroy is Batman, and I'm glad I was able to take this sad day and celebrate it with all of you in the panel as well as everybody in the chat. So that was my 2 cents.
And just final for me before we jump off for tonight's show. And if you guys are available, we'd love to see you guys over. If you have not seen Starship Troopers, it's one of my favorite sci-fi flicks, and they just celebrated their 25th anniversary on
Monday. It just got a brand new 4K release too.
That's crazy.
And my wife literally just brought it in for me. So
there it is.
Nice.
So on a happy note,
and Casper Rico.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, Casper did tweet at me. But guys, first off, thank you to everyone who joined us for tonight's show. Like, seriously, I was sad. I was broken, like truly heartbroken. I did not want to believe it. I'm still kind of in shock. I still kind of hope that I wake up tomorrow and find out this was just the nightmare that we dealt with today. But Kevin and the Conroy family, my condolences. I wish you peace and comfort during this time. To all Batman fans, Kevin, thank you so much for creating my love for Batman. If it wasn't for you, this community that I'm a part of, this Bat Channel community, this opportunity of just expressing my love for the character probably never would have happened without your take on the character. And I'm sad that you're gone, but you are not truly gone, because I will forever remember that iconic, beautiful voice. As I've said before, tonight, the bat signal shines in your honor, sir. Yes. Thank you for everything, Mr. Conroy, and you are the Batman. TJ, thank you for that $5 super chat. It says, today we celebrate the one, the only Batman. May Kevin Conroy rest in eternal peace. He may be gone, but he's not forgotten. His legacy is forever.
Fact.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much. We hope to see you in just a few minutes over on our other show. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Much love, guys. Much love.
I'm sorry.
Could you stay with me? I'm scared.